Unfortunately, the government will not make a decision where this third runway is going throughout the southeast, which has caused blight on this village. You know, and if only they would make a decision, then people could either sell their properties or move on with their lives. At the moment, we can't do a thing. We're totally blighted.
Are you wanting to sell?
We would like to sell. We would like to get away, maybe to the coast somewhere, a little bit of fresh air. As you could probably tell now, we can taste the diesel. You know, the pollution around here is so terrible.
And yet here's a chap who volunteered to live in Harmondsworth. It's the vicar, Father Phil Hughes, who once ran a country parish in Cornwall. He's also the chaplain at Heathrow itself and leaves home at 7 o'clock each morning to unlock the multi-denominational chapel. So what attracted you here? Because most people would run a mile from this kind of place, wouldn't they?
Yes, I'd done 6 years sort of grounding at London Gatwick as the chaplain, and the thing that I missed was actually having a parish and a community. So when I saw the advert in the Church Times, I thought, no, I could do this. It was a huge challenge because you were going to be full-time at the airport and have a parish.
Runway 3, of course, threatens at least one of your 3 villages, if not 2, doesn't it?
Yes, the original plan that the government had was that the runway would be positioned straight through Harmondsworth, would go through the tithe barn, the church, the cemetery, and wipe out the village. In fact, we had quite a successful campaign, and the decision to put the runway in a different position was arrived at, and so that most of Harmondsworth would in fact be saved. Unfortunately, Sipson village would be wiped off the map.
Pretty drastic, that. Fortunately, Sipson's oldest resident, Jack Clark, has heard it all before. When you're 94, nothing surprises you very much.
We used to walk into West Drayton every night for something to do. You know, as lads like, you know, got into a bit of mischief, of course, on the way backwards and forwards. Got the local bobby after us and, you know, things like that. But really, it was lovely. You get a lot of pollution here, especially when you get these overcast days. I grew some cauliflowers one day, and I couldn't believe myself. You could see the oil and greasy top on the white cauliflower.
So you didn't eat them?
No, I threw them away. No, you couldn't eat them, no.
Can you believe it? Jack still races pigeons. It's true. Hazardous game around here, though.
I had a friend of mine, he had 15 of his young birds swallowed up in a plane, in the engine. And they found out by the ring number, when they cleaned it out, that who they belonged to.
That could have brought the plane down.
Yeah, and he lived up there on the Bath Road, right close to it, see, and they were flying out over the airport as the plane coming into land. You know, it's a good job it's coming into land.
For the older ones, it must have seemed strange indeed to see giant aircraft roaring down paths that once they knew as pleasant loitering lanes. Stranger still to see the streams that they had known since childhood turned aside from their old winding courses to new straight concrete beds.
Yes, we used to come out here cycling, particularly on a Sunday afternoon, to these villages, Harmondsworth, Longford, Sipson. They, of course, were all villages in those days, and they were part of the market garden plain of Middlesex.
Why was it such a fertile area, Roy?
Well, the manure used to come out of London from the horses. First of all, the vehicles that took the produce to London, they came back loaded with manure, and a lot of manure came down on the barges.
An editorial in the Middlesex Advertiser read like this: "The communities are to suffer encroachment with the shattering roar of transatlantic monsters." Where does the individual stand in all of this? The farmer on his land, the family in the home, the worshipper in church. The hugeness of the project, it says, dwarfs the individual out of existence. Well, that was December 1947, and now we've got Terminal 5. We're now in the company of the Bath Road Piscatorial Society, which manages this stretch of the River Colne directly under the flight path. You've got about 45 seconds to answer this one, Eddie.
Right, go on.
Why would anybody want to live this close to Heathrow?
Well, because there's nowhere else to live, to be quite honest. I mean, you don't choose to live here, do you? You have to live here because you're forced to, really. But the fortunate part about it is we've got fishing quite close, so it's not too bad.
Just about got that in.
We got that in before the noise.
You'd never be able to sell a house around here, would you?
I don't know. Many people seem to. There's always signs up to selling them. Once they sort of soundproof them and got the double glazing in, it's not quite so bad. And once you've lived here 30 odd years, you sort of get used to it.
And although it's hemmed in on all sides, village life goes its own sweet way. Most of the harvest probably tastes of diesel, but let's give thanks for it anyway.
We ask you to bless this evening and also to bless the Harvest Festival celebrations for the parish of Harmondsworth as we kick off tonight with the Harvest Supper.